Fenriz, can you say something about Soulside Journey for us?
What I remember was we did a live recording in '89. We sent that around to some companies. Peaceville signed us on this live recording, and then we signed the deal somewhat late '89, '90. All there was for us to do was make new songs and rehearse for a new album. And we asked for help because we didn't have a big budget to deal with. So we thought, okay, I've been in contact with the Nihilist / Entomb guys since '87, and we decided to go over there to Stockholm and record the album there, the Soulside Journey album. Was probably like September '90. Was a small studio. We had all our technical death horror metal well on our way. Our songs were just through and through rehearsed well enough. This was our first time in a recording studio, first time making a fucking album, so we thought maybe we'd need some help with the guitar sound or something. Uffe from Entomb helped us there. Don't really remember much from the recording session though. We were just hanging around Stockholm, basically being in the studio every fucking day. I guess we did the drums at first. I remember I had some rototoms that the now famous guy from Sunlight tried to mic from like on top, which would give the sound of. I'm like, sorry, try to mic those roto on the backside, and then suddenly I had the do stuff we needed. Nocturno Culto can fill you in later on some of the guitar strategy, whatever. But we had the material really clearly done and rehearsed before we went to the studio. We just had to record it in like, what, 5-6 days. I guess the Sunlight studio that we entered was some sort of the Scandinavian version of, you know, the Morris sound down in Florida. Later we thought that this was not the best choice we could have done, but for me, Soulside Journey is still a bona fide solid fucking death metal album. When it comes to Darkthrone, we were always on about the riffs, and the riffs were always important for us. And the whole ordeal of like knitting the songs together to make like a verse, refrain, whatever, was never really important for us. We just had what we thought and what I feel was killer riffs, and we just riff upon riff upon riff, sort of a riff-o-rama. That was an expression used a lot in speed and thrash metal years before 1990 September. We recorded Soulside Journey.
Remember being very young, the first album, you know?
Oh yeah!
Very exciting, indeed.
Absolutely. For me personally, I never had any ambition besides that of getting a fucking record deal. So when Peaceville offered us the deal in late '89, early '90, it was a fucking dream come true. I mean, let's face the facts. We were really into Chris Ryford stuff and Autopsy, and that was like the label we wanted to be on. and we were so dedicated to death metal at the time. Although we saw death metal around us, it's just more or less wearing shorts and being politically correct and all that shit. We really didn't feel comfortable about that. Soulside fucking Journey. What do you remember?
I remember being young. I remember we were in Stockholm recording Soulside Journey. I was under a big influence of the first death album at the time, which I mean the solos on the Scream Bloody Gore album was one of the inspiration sources for me to do the solos on Soulside Journey, which is probably the most structured solos we ever had. And listening to a lot of death metal, I mean, like I said, the first death album was a really great inspiration for me to in the Soulside Journey or the Soulside Journey area. It's like Slayer as well. Had a great influence on me as a person on Soulside Journey at the time. Remember being in Stockholm. It was probably the only goal Darkthrone ever had, was to record an album. After we did the first album, we didn't have any goals like musicians, you know, we didn't strive for anything. But to finally get to release a full-length album, to get it on vinyl, to get it on CD was really big for me. Also, remember rehearsing a lot. It was in a time when we developed our musician skills on guitars, drums, etc. And I guess we were only about 18, 19 years old when we did that album. It was a cool time, probably. Don't remember much since I was not in charge by any means with Darkthrone, as I mean Fenriz was in charge of Darkthrone since the beginning and throughout all the Peaceville albums. Was like but we were all close companions. And so all the things around Soulside Journey with the release, I didn't have anything to do with that. I mean, Fenriz did that very well. Also, the cover on the Soulside Journey was actually a painting done exclusively for that album. I also saw the artwork and the painting when I was visiting Peaceville in '92. It's really good. It's a fucking huge painting. Really great. You know, hanging around in Stockholm, as you said. I think I could have got something more out of it if I wanted to, but I think I was just fucking far out at that time in many ways. You know.
Already then?
Yeah, already then I didn't feel comfortable. Well, it's like
Who the fuck feels comfortable in extreme metal?
no, it's like but it was interesting times, I remember. And Soulside Journey came out pretty well, sound-wise as well. We did drag in some of the Entomb members to make sure we didn't sound like them. Very, very important, because Entombed had done a great album in Sunlight Studio, and we didn't want to sound like them. And actually, I remember Uffe did some pre-production of the guitar sound. It sounded really good.
Here's where I go like, yeah.
Yeah. It was very good, and he helped us because we didn't have any experience. We just rehearsed with our old equipment, which we thought was very good.
Uffe and Sunlight Studios helped us sound like every other death metal band at the time. Oh, it's a good project though.
Yeah, it's a good product, and yeah, I mean, also the solos at the time, you know, was very inspired by Death's first album, which was fucking brilliant, and still is one of my favorite albums. And one of the best remarks I actually did get to that solo was from Uffe from Entombed. He said that, you know, I get a Scream Bloody Gore feeling. Oh yeah. I mean, it's because I never thought of myself as a solo guitarist. You know, I'm more like Malcolm Young than Angus Young.
I never knew that about the solo mentioning from you.
No, it's but yeah, I think so. That's from my view of the whole thing. I mean, we also, I mean, Dag Nielsen did also a lot of work on Soulside Journey riffs and stuff like that. I can't really remember what influence he did have on the production. I think we all were very involved at the time. We all had something to say about everything, and luckily we didn't ending up hating each other so early.
No, not after that album.
No. So yeah, I mean, Soulside Journey is a very it was a good experience, and since we were all into death metal at the time, and of course being so young when we started I joined Darkthrone in, I will say, April '88.
Yeah.
I mean, we wanted to develop as musicians and develop our skills, so I mean, most of the time went to practice, you know, practice all the time. So yeah, that pretty much concludes my vision around Soulside Journey. It was our first album.